Hey guys, it's Julie, designer at the Quilted Cow, and today's tutorial is on the Briar Tote. Before we begin, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Husqvarna Viking sewing machines, Creative Grids, rulers, mats, and rotary cutters, and Wilmington Prints. Let's get started. The Briar Tote is the perfect tote. You can use it for a baby bag. You can take a picnic in it. It's big, it has lots of pockets. It's great to tote all of your things. You can find the kit and pattern on the Quilted Cow website at thequiltedcow.com or on our Facebook Lives on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The first thing you need to do is to cut out all of your fabric and interfacings. This is the Winsome Critters lines by Wilmington Fabrics. Gorgeous, gorgeous little baby bag. I'm going to show you a picnic tote in the other version. Once you have all of your fabrics cut out, it's very important to label them or to keep them separated so that you guys can tell the difference. This bag does have a lot of pieces to it. We're going to begin by attaching all of our interfacings to its coordinating fabrics. This bag is very versatile. You can add panel squares if you have them. You can attach borders to it if you need a nice little pop. All of your fusible batting interfaces are cut a 1/2 inch smaller just to help with your seam allowance. Make your bag lay a little flatter. This is your large interior pocket. The interfacing will only go on the bottom half of it, and then you'll just give it a press. Once you have all of your interfacings applied to the back of your fabrics, this one is going to get doubled up. So this is your foam batting piece. You're going to pick one of your 3 lightweight interfaced pieces, and you're going to attach your foam batting right to the bottom. You want to add a base stitch in to secure this. You can use spray starch or your Fusibond powder, whichever one you would prefer, to hold it in place. Okay, you need to locate your exterior pocket pieces, and we're going to put them right sides together to attach the lining to the exterior of it. Okay, you want to turn it right side out and press right where your seam is, and then we're going to top stitch across. Repeat that step for both of your exterior pockets. Once you have your top stitch in, we're going to measure down a 1/2 inch from our top stitch line and make a mark so we can form our case opening. You need to step to your machine and sew right on this line that's drawn. I'm going to give it a little press to erase my friction marks. If you're using chalk, you can brush it off now. The next step is to thread your elastic through your case opening. I'm going to use this teal thingy. You can find these on the website, thequiltedcow.com, on our Facebook Lives Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You can use a bodkin, you could use a safety pin, whatever you have available. I'm going to stop it whenever it's about a 1/2 inch outside. I'm going to repeat that for both pockets. Before I ever gather my elastic, I'm going to put a stay stitch to hold it in place on one end. It'll definitely make it easier and you won't have to rethread your elastic. Once you have one side sewn, you're going to pull the other side of the elastic until the top cased edge or the elastic part of your pocket measures 5.5 inches. Once you have it at the right width, you can step to your machine and stitch the other end to secure it in place. Once your elastic is secure, you can trim the ends off, even with your fabric line. You need to get your fusible fleece backed side panels. You'll need 2 of them. The other piece with fusible is for the bottom of your bag. So what you want to do is measure out, match up the corner at the bottom and straighten out along the top. Pin or clip this into place. We're going to do this for all the side panels. Just matching up the corner. Repeat it on your other side. Once you have your sides pinned in place, we're going to gather or to pleat the bottom to make it fit the size we need. Doing this adds extra room to your pockets. I always just fold mine under in the center and then clip it in place. Once you have the bottom gathered and pleated, we are going to run a base stitch around the edges to secure these pieces together. Once you have your exterior side panels complete, set them aside and we'll start working on the interior side panels. For this step, you'll need your interior pocket pieces and your interior lining pieces. Those should be your last two pieces that have lightweight interfacing on the backs of them. So to do this, you've applied your lightweight interfacing to the bottom of your interior pocket. We're simply going to add a top stitch right across this fold before attaching them to our side panels. We're going to attach these the same way that we did the exterior pockets. Just line up your bottom corners and your top and pin them in place. These are definitely much easier to attach since they don't have any elastic. They are a much smaller pocket, however. Next, you'll step to your machine and base stitch around the edges of these. Once those are finished, you can set your interior side pockets aside and we'll focus on our large interior pocket. Your large interior pocket has the fusible fleece on the bottom half on the inside. What we're going to do for this is fold it right sides together. So your fusible fleece will be on the outside. Match up your corners and we're going to stitch around the edges to form our interior pocket. Be sure to leave a 3 or 4 inch opening so you can turn it right side out. Now you need to turn it right side out, poke out all your corners, and then we're going to press it. I'm using a teal thingy to press out my corners. Highly recommend everyone have one in their sewing kit. Once you have your corners pressed out, just make sure you fold under where you turned. Make it even with your seam. And we're going to press this and we'll stitch it closed whenever we attach it to our lining. This pocket goes on one of your lining pieces. So we're going to take our lining and measure 4 inches from the top. I'm going to use a friction pin to mark my space. I'm going to fold my lining in half to find the center and just give it a little finger press. I'm going to do the same thing with my pocket so I can line up those center lines. Find the marks you made. Once your finger presses are in line and your pocket is in line, we're going to pin it into place and stitch around the edges. We're going to sew the sides and the bottom to secure it onto our lining piece. Once you have stitched around the edges and the bottom of your interior pocket, you need to decide if you would like to divide it into sections. Now's the time to do that. I think I'm just going to add a little line down the center so that way we'll have 2 pockets for whatever storage we need. Now I have 2 pockets on my interior. Next, we're going to form our handles. So gather your handle fabric. We're going to press it in half to create a crease in the center. Once you have your center line creased, we're going to fold our raw edges to the center line them up, and refold it. It's very important to pin or clip this into place as you go, or it's just going to pop back open. After they are pressed into place, we're going to step to the machine and sew an 1/8 inch stitch down both long edges. Once you have top stitched your handles, we're going to attach them to our exterior pieces. I'm going to attach them 4.5 inches from the top corners. So I'm going to use this cute little ruler from Creative Grids, and I'm going to measure over from the top corner 4.5 inches, and I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other exterior panel. Once you have all your marks made, we're going to clip our handles into place to secure them. I'm going to go just on the inside of that line I drew and clip it into place. Make sure your handle's not twisted when you're doing this. Nobody wants to have to use a seam ripper. We're going to do the same thing on our other exterior panel. Once you have both of your handles attached to your exterior panel, we're going to step to our machine and base stitch those into place. Once your handles are secure and based into place, what we need to do is gather all of our exterior pieces. So we'll need 2 panels. We will need the bottom of our bag that has the fusible fleece on the back, and we will need our 2 side panels. The first step is to attach the bottom of the bag or the base to the bottom of our panels. To do this, we're just going to sew all across. Once the first panel is attached, we're going to repeat the same steps, attaching the bottom of this to the other 17-inch side. Now the exterior of your bag should have 2 exterior main panels in the base of the bag. To attach our side panels, you can pick either one of your main panels, and we're just going to attach them right on the sides. Add them right sides together on either one. Definitely going to want to pin or clip these into place, and we're going to sew the edges. We are going to stop 1/4 inch from the bottom to give room to assemble the bag. Once you have your side panels sewn on, you're going to form the exterior of your bag. So you'll want to fold the other panel up and pin or clip this into place with the side that you just attached. When assembling the exterior, you want to sew down the side seams, cut your thread, and then you'll sew across the bottom of your pocket here. Repeat all the same steps on the other side. Once again, leaving 1/4 inch seam at the bottom, so your bag's not odd and bulky at the bottom. Now step to your machine and sew these pieces together. Now you've got your main rectangle formed. We're just going to lay our bottoms together and stitch those with 1/4 inch seam. Okay, we're going to repeat those steps to attach the other side of our bag together. Okay, once that side seam's done, you're going to repeat the same step, lining up your bottom of your side panel with the base of your bag. Once you have your sides and bottoms all secure, we're going to turn the exterior of our bag right side out, poking out all of our corners. You'll want to set the exterior of your bag aside so we can assemble the interior or the lining portion. For this, you're going to need your 2 lining panels, your 2 sides that we put pockets on, and you'll need your base that has the foam on the bottom. This will keep any of your breakables on the inside of your bag a little more secure. So to start, you want to attach the base of your lining to one of your lining panels. Make sure if you start with the one with the pocket that your pocket is on the top part. I have done that too many times. So line these up, and we're going to just step to our machine and sew all the way across. We're going to attach our other lining piece to the base of our lining, once again sewing all the way. Okay, you should have 2 lining panels with your lining base. The next part is we're going to add our side panels on, just as we did with the exterior of the bag. So I always do the one with the pocket and must have all the pockets on the same side so I know everything's facing the same way. Make sure your pocket piece is facing up. And we're just going to pin or clip these right into place. When you're sewing your lining, it's important to leave a 3 or 4 inch turn opening so we can get our bag the right direction later. We're also going to leave the same 1/4 inch seam at the bottom of this so we attach. Just helps everything lay nice and flat when your bag is finished. Step to your machine and sew these with a 1/4 inch seam. Once you have your side panels attached, we're going to do the same thing we did with the exterior of the tote by attaching the other side of our lining to the side panels over here. Pin or clip them into place. We'll once again be sewing the sides before we sew the bottoms together. So sew your sides, cut your fabric, and then sew across your bottom. Just makes for a nice crisp corner. Okay, step to your machine and sew these with a 1/4 inch seam. Pinch your bottoms and line them up. And we'll sew a 1/4 inch seam across the bottom. Next, you'll sew the other side of your tote, the other side of your bag lining. Once the side's secure, you're going to once again pinch the bottom and sew a 1/4 inch seam. Once you have your lining completely assembled, we are going to leave this wrong side out. We are going to take the exterior part of our bag or our tote and place it inside the lining. Make sure you place your handles down inside. Once it's tucked in, you'll want to go around and line up all the corners and pin or clip them into place. Once you have your corners and sides secure, we're going to clip around the top edge of the front and back part of our tote. I always want to make sure that your handles are nice and straight, and I always add a pin right where they are located to kind of keep them nice and straight whenever you're stitching. The weight of the handle tends to pull it down a little bit, and nobody wants a crooked handle on your handbag. Next, we're going to step to the machine and sew a 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to pull off the extra plate. Makes it much easier to sew bags. You can start anywhere you'd like on the top of your tote. Once you have top stitched the entire top part of the bag, you need to find your opening you left in your lining and turn your bag right side out. I always go through and check and make sure I caught every seam before I start sewing up the side where I turned it. It's always better to find it now in case there's an error or an issue. Make sure you clip any excess threads you have. You want to take your lining part of your fabric and tuck it inside your main. Before we do that, let's go ahead and close our lining opening from when we turn. Just going to tuck this under, step to the machine and sew it shut. Once you've sewn your turned opening closed, we're going to tuck our lining right inside the main part of our bag. Once you have it tucked in, all your corners are aligned, we're going to press our top edge of our bag before we add a top stitch. Gives it a nice firm line for stitching. Once you have the top of your bag pressed, we're going to go back to the sewing machine and add a top stitch around the entire top part of the bag. And that is how you make the Briar Tote. It's the perfect tote for any weekend getaway. You can use it for great picnics, cute little baby bag. This print is the Hummingbird floral fabric from Wilmington Prints. The first one I showed you was the Winsome Critters fabric line, also by Wilmington Prints. You can find this kit and pattern on our website at thequiltedcow.com or on our Facebook Lives on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Please like and subscribe for more tutorials, and thanks for watching.
Okay, you wicked cool quilters, good job. You made it to the end. We would like to thank our sponsors, Husqvarna Viking Sewing Machines, Creative Grids, rulers, rotary cutters, and mats, and Wilmington Prints for the beautiful fabrics. Thanks for watching.